Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures That Outperform. We're on episode 4 today of our series on how to lead from anywhere. This is about how do you meet people's needs in the most effective way possible, and how do you create an organization where everybody wants to be there, puts down roots, and stays. So today, we're going to cover fairness and equality. And fairness and equality enable workers to trust the organization. So this is about something called organizational trust. You not only have to trust the people, but you've got to have an organization that operates in a fair way, fair and equal way. And so we'll dig right into this. Here's a great quote from John Wooden. Fairness is giving all people the treatment they earn and deserve. It doesn't mean treating everyone alike. And so this is very, very important. For those of you who don't know who John Wooden was, since he's no longer with us, he's basically one of the most legendary basketball coaches in college basketball history. He coached UCLA for a long time, 48 to 75. He won 10 NCAA championships, including an unprecedented 7 in a row, which has never been repeated by anybody. Imagine that, 7 NCAA championships in a row. And he basically had a winning percentage of 804, 0.804. So won over 80% of the games they played in. This is amazing. He's not the winningest basketball coach of all time. Other people have served longer, like Coach K, and have more wins. But this guy is the most legendary, no doubt about it. And he understood fairness totally. And he treated everybody fairly and believed in it. But his quote is on the money. And so as we get here, Tara, I've been blabbing away here. Maybe you want to take it.
Yeah. So fairness is all about giving people what they deserve, what they've worked hard for, just making sure that people are rewarded and promoted based on their contributions. So if I work hard, I should be rewarded for that. I'm not saying that, it's fair to just give everyone the same raise and everyone has to make the same pay, like in terms of dollar amounts, because they're in the same role and they need to make the same pay. There's a base where everybody that's in the same role, they should make the same, regardless of what their race is, their age, their, backgrounds or whatever. You should have some ranges in there. But then there should be some way for you to reward people that go over and beyond, because they're doing more. They should be rewarded for that. And so that's really what the heart of this whole fairness thing is about. It's not about, just trying to make some blanket statement about it where everybody is the same. We're all equals here. People say that kind of stuff, but then in action, you see things happen differently. And so you don't want promotions to be based on anything other than performance. You don't want it to be because they've got the right connections and this person is in the clique and this person is a favorite.
Boy, we've all seen that, haven't we, Terry?
That's right.
We've all seen it. I mean, somebody working incredibly hard, performing at a very high level, but somebody who hangs out with the right people gets promoted over them. And boy, feels so unfair.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating
and
very demotivating.
Yeah,
that is a surefire way to demotivate your workforce when you start promoting people that are not qualified, that don't have the credentials to be there, that don't have any of the knowledge that they need. And then you make the person that you passed over train them. Oh my goodness. You're just setting yourself up for failure as a leader.
Huge failure. Fairness, this is another thing, that people must understand how their performance is going to be measured. Because it is totally unfair when somebody's getting their ratings and they're being told this was the most important thing you had to work on. You didn't perform well on that, but they excelled in 6 other things that they were told to do. And they never knew that this one thing was going to really determine how they were going to be rated. So they couldn't plan their time accordingly. They treated everything the same, tried to get it all done. And that happens. People are too busy, especially if they're remote. You're leading from anywhere. They may just be getting assignments, but you may never, as a leader, have taken the time to go through how they're going to be rated. So you should be having monthly meetings with the people, giving them feedback. They should always understand exactly how they're going to be measured. And I think that's really important. I've seen this unfairness like this creep in so many times. So these are great norms to follow and to ask questions that If you think we're not doing this or you don't understand exactly how you're going to be measured, you got to raise your hand because maybe there's been miscommunication. I made a mistake, whatever it might be. And that's why these norms are important. If you operationalize them, it gives people the chance to say, hey, our norm is X. And, I'm just not sure exactly how I'm going to be measured at the end of the year. And that's why these things are just so important.
Yeah.
And, quality likewise, right, Tara? Why don't you jump on
It
this one?
is. It's so important, especially when you have people that are working remotely. You don't want them to feel like they're not being treated as equal or fairly because they're working remote versus the people that are coming into the office. So you want to make sure that you consider that people are humans first and workers second. So everybody has that need to feel like they are equal, that they're humans, that they're given the respect that they should have as a human being, just being treated well as a person and not just seeing people as a number, as an employee number, as, another FTE. You're just going to count the butts in the seats.
Right.
You can't see it that way. You really do have to treat people the way you want to be treated. That is exactly how you have to treat people.
And I've seen it in these big companies where an executive is enamored by somebody's degree from Harvard. And so this person went to Harvard, this one graduated from a state school. They both did great, but, always wowed by the Harvard thing. You got to treat them equal. They both got a degree. They did their job. They both graduated.
Yeah.
And the person from the state school might be a much better performer. But I've seen it automatically, this
Yeah.
credential craziness, right? Like, oh, wow, well, they went to Harvard or they've got this. And that's just not treating people equally. They both went to college. They're equal. It's going to be based on their performance.
Right.
Super important. And then, listen, people do have stereotypes and biases, and you can't let that creep in. People feel what you believe about them. And trust me, it's a vibe. Your vibe
Yes.
will be different if you have a stereotypical kind of view of somebody and you're not really treating them as kind of that equal worker with the same chance as everybody else, right? Because Terry and I were chatting before the show, and it's about the level playing field. You got to get them a level playing field. That's what this is about. What they do with it, that's up to them. But they've got to have the level playing field. And Terry, why don't you share that image you saw? That was I think that really hit the mark. I wish I could have gotten that in this deck for us.
Yeah, I didn't think about it soon enough, or I would have tried to find it. But I saw
Mhm.
this image once that talked about equality. And it showed this image of children watching either a football game or a baseball game, but they were standing at a fence. And the tallest person could stand at the fence and they could see just fine. But then there were other kids that were different ages, different heights. And of course, the shortest kid could not see anything. So to make it equal, they had a ladder or a set of blocks or something. I can't remember exactly, but for the shortest person, they had the height raised up so that the child could actually see over the fence. And then you saw for each age or for each height of the child, you had whatever they needed underneath them to make it so that they could actually see. And I want to say they even had a child that had a platform underneath them, but the child was in a wheelchair. And they
Mhm.
had the wheelchair with the platform, and it was up to the height so that the child could see over the fence. And it was just such a beautiful image to me to see
I think it's
how
great.
it's about providing people what they need to level the playing field so
Yeah.
that now we're all starting from the same point. We're not necessarily trying to give somebody an edge. So it wasn't about making it so that the children that were shorter could see better than the person that was tall
Yeah.
enough to stand and see over the fence. It was about making sure that we could all have the same vantage point. So
Oh, yeah.
now the person that's maybe disabled, or the person, in my case, because I'm a short person, I can say that I always need a little bit extra when it comes to height. I'm very height challenged. But, just leveling things out so that people have the same opportunities. Now, what I do with the opportunity once I'm given it,
Hey,
that's
totally up to
earning
you.
from there on. It's on me to earn it. But you've got to level the playing field so that people have that opportunity to shine. But
That's
if
right.
I have all these other things that I've got to overcome before I can even get to the starting line, then it's going to be difficult for me to outshine and to outperform anyone else.
That's right. You're equal to this individual over here, no question about it. If you're
Yeah.
talking to two workers, but listen, you did great and you didn't. You had the same equipment, you got the same opportunities. And so what you do with it is what this all comes down to. You have an equal chance.
Yeah.
Next week, we're moving on to look at another set of norms that you can implement so that you can lead from anywhere and create a great culture. We're going to be going over caring culture. How do you make people feel that you care about them? And so this is very important. This is a great set of norms. Use the ones you want. Norms control behavior, they create conversations. It defines who you are and how your culture works and what you believe is a culture. And so these are super important. And if you operationalize these, and at least the ones you need, you're going to find that things are going to work much better. People are going to perform better. Your culture is going to be great, and you're going to be able to be a great leader from anywhere. So we're here every Wednesday at 3 o'clock with another live episode, and I hope you can join us next week. Take care.
Yes.